Live है मैम.
Thank you. Okay, class, today we are going to start with the staffing function of the business organization and management. This is the fourth function of the business organization and management. The first three are planning, organizing, directing, and fourth one is staffing. So start with the definition first. Staffing is the process of hiring eligible candidates in the organization or company for specific positions. In management, the meaning of staffing is an operation of recruiting the employees by evaluating their skills, knowledge, and then offering them specific job roles accordingly. So let's find out more about what is staffing and what it entails according to its functions and characteristics. बेसिकली अगर स्टाफिंग का एक लाइन में मतलब समझे तो मतलब होता है इसका प्रोसेस ऑफ रिक्रूटमेंट मतलब हायरिंग एलिजिबल कैंडिडेट्स इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज नॉन एज स्टाफिंग. ठीक है. So you can see the diagram also. And definition again I'm repeating कि staffing can be defined as one of the most important function of the management. It involves the process of filling the vacant position of the right personnel at the right job at the right time. Hence, everything will occur in the right manner. So it is truth that human resource is one of the greatest for every organization, but in any organization, all other resources like money, material, machine, etc. can be utilized effectively and efficiently by the positive efforts of the human resource. Therefore, it is very important that each and every employee should get the right position in the organization so as to get the right job according to their ability, talent, aptitude, and specialization so that it will help the organization to achieve the preset goals in the proper way by that 100% contribution of the manpower. Obviously बात है अगर एक पर्सन को राइट जॉब दी जाती है जो उसको सूट करती है सूट कैसे कि जो उसकी एबिलिटी जो उसके टैलेंट जो उसका एप्टीट्यूड जो उसके स्पेशलाइजेशन को मैच करती है तो कहीं ना कहीं वो अपना 100% कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन देता है टू अचीव द ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल गोल्स. This is they want to say, and thus it can be said also कि it is staffing which is an essential function of every business organization. For example, let's go through the functions first. The first and the foremost function of the staffing is to obtain qualified personnel for different jobs position in the organization. In staffing, the right person is recruited for the right job. Therefore, it leads to the maximum productivity and the high performance. Obviously, बात है अगर right person right job पे recruit किया गया है, तो it leads to the maximum productivity and the higher performance. It also helps in promoting the optimum utilization of resources through various aspects. And job satisfaction, the morale of the employee increases through the recruitment of the right person. Staffing helps to ensure better utilization of human resources. It ensures the continuity and the growth of the organization through development managers. Okay. तो यहाँ से करेंगे हम कि functions of staffing function. The first is critical managerial function. कि staffing function is amongst the most critical managerial function along with planning, organizing, directing and controlling, and the success of all those managerial function depends on the workforce which is organized by the staffing function. Second is recruiting activity. कि staffing function is the responsibility of the all the managers working in all the capacities and in all the departments of the businesses. So it is a recurring function. Third, it's a continuous function. Starting with recruitment to training and development to managing employee expectations to important transfers and promotions, staffing continues throughout the life cycle and is thus a continued function. And again, based on the efficient management of the personnel. Human resources are managed through a system of staffing function which should be fair, dynamic and efficient in order to sustain in the long term. Hiring the right people. This is done through a rigorous recruitment process and selecting the most appropriate candidate for the suitable job positions. Also, promotion should be well thought through and in the direction of a long-term vision of the organization. So this is the functions of the staffing. Again, importance of the staffing. Staffing is important to a business in multiple ways, and some of them are as follow. The first is the workforce is life force. As elaborated upon, key the workforce of a business is its life force. Without the requisite human involvement, working in a motivated fashion for the betterment and the benefits of the business organization, the business will always be far from the success. तो ऑब्वियसली बात है जो ह्यूमन इसमें इन्वॉल्व है जो वर्कफोर्स लगी हुई है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में वो वेल मोटिवेटेड होनी चाहिए ताकि बिजनेस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को बेनिफिट्स मिल सके उनका बेटरमेंट हो सके सो बिजनेस विल ऑलवेज बी फार फ्रॉम द सक्सेस अगर ये सब चीजें नहीं है so that is the workforce is the life force. Second, ensures competency and efficiency. Staffing is a process. It's not just about finding a person for the job. It is about finding the right person for the job. So staffing involves identifying competent and skilled people who will be able to fit directly into the position and perform the function it entails in an efficient and a successful manner. So staffing is not about making a layman a CEO. It's about making a CEO a CEO. ये मतलब कॉम्पिटेंसी एफिशिएंसी का मतलब ये कि ये नहीं है कि बस एक लेमन टर्म है कि सीईओ अपॉइंट करना नहीं सीईओ को एज अ सीईओ बनाना है दैट इज इंश्योर्स कॉम्पिटेंसी एंड एफिशिएंसी थर्ड ऑप्टिमम यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ रिसोर्सेज बहुत इजी सबसे इजी फंक्शन है ये ऑप्टिमम यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ रिसोर्सेज कि रिसोर्सेज आर स्कार्स इन टुडेज वर्ल्ड बहुत मुश्किल है आज के टाइम में रिसोर्सेज को इकट्ठा करना and all the resources including like human resources need to be optimally utilized. So staffing as a process ensure that only the right amount of people are staffed in the business and are functioning in it. So this allows for clearing a huge amount of money being wasted on unnecessary employees and also provide such employees the opportunity to fare better in other businesses and initiatives that actually need their services. Moreover, an employee, especially in the higher levels of the management, is tasked with the function of managing all the resources of the business. If staffing is unable to put a competent person in that position, these resources could be wastefully used, costing the business and also the world a lot. And the next point is training and development of the employees. Staffing is not just about finding the right person and putting him in a position, but is also about helping him through the process of training and development to adapt to the changing needs and the requirements of that position. So it involves the process of improving the skills of the employees to allow him to discharge the functions now and also in developing his overall ability to facilitate him to discharge more complicated functions in the future. The staffing involves preparing for the future as well as allowing for the achievement of the business goals now. So this is how training and development of the employees takes place. Next is motivation. By allowing for training and development, staffing also creates a system of motivation. The training provided by the business helps in boosting the confidence level of the employees and usually provided in order to teach them efficient ways of discharging their functions. When employees understand that the business is willing to take such an effort for improving their skills for now and for the future, so they will be motivated in the working harder for the business. ऑटोमेटिकली बात है अगर आप किसी चीज के लिए आप उसके स्किल्स को इम्प्रूव करोगे फॉर द फ्यूचर तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली मोटिवेट होगा आगे काम करने के लिए दैट इज अबाउट मोटिवेशन नेक्स्ट इम्प्रूव्स एम्प्लॉय सेटिस्फेक्शन एंड मोरल The process of staffing also involves appraising the work done by the employees and rewarding the employees for their hard work. Such appreciation of the work so performed by the employees, apart from being an important source of motivation, also plays a huge role in satisfying them and boosting their morale. So this hereby ensures that the business doesn't see huge labor shortages or the employees wanting to go to the another enterprise. So ये थे आपने importance of the staffing function. Next topic is next are what are the steps involved in the staffing function of the management. The first step is the manpower planning. Manpower planning, or in simple terms, estimation of the workforce requirement is the first step in the process of the staffing. As always, every step starts off with the process of planning, identifying what is required. So this step involves outlining the various positions of the organization and determining what category of people will be suitable for it. So for example, I'm talking if I am making an engineering company, okay, so I would want someone who has prior management experience and a great understanding of the discipline to be the CEO. So the qualification could be the person being a veteran or a person dual MBA and engineering degree. So these would be the requirements. That is the manpower planning. Second step is the recruitment. Once the position MBA or engineer degree वाला position चाहिए. So once the positions are determined, the qualification outline, so the analysis need to identify people meeting the condition. क्या हम देखें कौन से people है जिस conditions को meet करेंगे. So this is done through a process known as recruiting. This process could be done through a multiplicity of the ways like recruitment, on-job recruitment, etc. Engineering company, me informing that for the position will be recruited. ठीक है, company me informing it to be the interview for the position, it will be recruiting. That is the recruiting. Next was selection. Okay, selection is a process that comes either prior to recruiting or not at all. Recruiting nowadays is a combination of selection and recruiting. So selection as a distinct process involves shifting through the recruits to understand who can do the job better. So basically the steps involved could be the practical test भी हो सकता है आपका, interview भी हो सकता है, theory test भी हो सकता है, etc. All depending on the time, convenience and policy of the company. In my company, it would be about pitching the veteran against the dual degree holder in a practical test environment, probably a crisis simulation, and deciding who does the better. So this is an example of how I am going to select. Fourth, workforce orientation. Workforce orientation is a process by which a new employee recently selected is made familiar to a workplace. So workforce orientation is a process by which a new employee recently selected is made familiar to a workplace. Being a new employee, he or she might be unaware of the company's policies, objectives, rules, etc., and will require time getting familiar to. So this is hastened by giving orientations to make the employee step into his position comfortably and with complete commitment and the awareness. So being a new company, my company won't require this. But when the tenure of the CEO ends, a new one is selected from outside the company that it may be necessary. That is workforce orientation. देखो पापा बोल रहे हैं शायद. Next आता है training and development. Picasso probably wasn't so good at what he does when he first did it. So practice makes one better at what he does. So does training. Even the most efficient of the employees sometimes need a hand or two to get better at what they do. And this is underlying concept in providing training and development. Sometimes क्या होता है trained और efficient employee को भी ना तो एक दो चीजों को सीखने की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है. दैट इज ट्रेनिंग लेने की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है इन इंश्योरिंग डेवलपमेंट. ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई भी परफेक्ट नहीं है. इवन ही इज परफेक्ट, ही इज एफिशिएंट. Still, as per the job requirement, he needs to get training and ensures development. So, training and development are two different concepts. It is more concerned with making the employees what he does. For instance, helping an accountant to be a better accountant. Development is concerned with improving the faculties and abilities of the employee in such a manner so as to allow him to discharge more complicated functions in the future. For instance, it would be helping a branch accountant to be the regional chief accountant. So this is how training and development works. Next, performance appraisal. Mere employment and training of the employee is not the end of the staffing function. It also involves the function of appraising the level of the performance of each employee. For example, in my engineering company, it would be understanding how well the CEO I selected is running the company. कि वो कितने अच्छे से मेरी कंपनी चला रहा है जो सेलेक्ट मैंने किया था सीईओ. दैट इज एग्जांपल, दैट इज द परफॉर्मेंस अप्रेजल. ये तो सबको पता होगा परफॉर्मेंस अप्रेजल क्या होता है कि जो आपके एम्प्लॉय परफॉर्मेंस कर रहे हैं कंपनी में उनको अप्रेज करना. दैट इज परफॉर्मेंस अप्रेजल. नेक्स्ट आता है कॉम्पनसेशन. An employee will not work anything. He needs to be compensated for the work and the effort he puts into the company. So the total amount and the nature of the compensation depends upon the nature of the work and the position of the employer. So a CEO gets a salary along with other benefits, जैसे कि shares etc. Whereas a layoff would get only daily wages. So compensation may also include bonuses and the like depending upon the performance of the employees. So compensation, everybody who is doing job is only for the salary. Not only salary but also other some benefit जैसे कि shares लगा लिए, कुछ extra benefits दे दिए. तो these are kind of compensation. Next आता है आपका promotion. And the last जो आता है आपका promotion. कि promotion is the elevation of rank and status of an employee. It is distinct from the mere changes of the employee and requires the two mentioned elements. Staffing is also concerned with the promotion as it to be done in context to the entire organizational structure of the employees. And promotions are granted to the people who show promise and are committed, and even though a constituent element of the broader functioning of the staffing has a huge role to play in the company success. That is the promotion. तो ये था आपका स्टाफिंग फंक्शन का प्रोसेस. You can see also this diagram can analyze the current manpower inventory, making future manpower forecast, developing employment program, and design the training programs. अब आता है जो मैन पावर प्लानिंग है इसका मीनिंग क्या एग्जैक्टली. अब हम इसको वाइडर टर्म पढ़ेंगे जो भी हमने डिस्कस किया. इसका जो फर्स्ट स्टेप था स्टाफिंग का Manpower planning, which is also known as human resource planning, consists of putting right number of people, right kind of the people at the right place, right time, doing the right things for which they are suited for the achievement of the goals of the organization. So human resource planning has got an important place in the arena of the industrialization. Human resource planning has to be a system approach and is carried out in a set procedure. The procedure is followed, like analyzing the current manpower inventory, making future manpower forecast, developing employment program, design, training programs. So what are the steps in the manpower planning is the first, analyzing the current manpower inventory. Before a manager makes forecast of future manpower, the current manpower status has to be analyzed. For this, the two things have to be noted. The first, type of organization, second, number of departments, third, number and quantity of such departments, and fourth, employees in these work units. So once these factors are registered by a manager, so he goes for the future forecasting. Future forecasting is like making future manpower forecast. Once the factor affecting the future manpower forecast are known, planning can be done for the future manpower requirements in the several work units. The manpower forecasting techniques commonly employed by the organization are as follows. The first, expert forecast. The first is expert forecast. This includes informal decision, formal expert service, and Delphi techniques. Second, trend analysis की बात करें तो manpower needs can be projected through extrapolation, that is projecting past trends, indexation जैसे कि base year को as basis लेके काम करना, and statistical analysis, that is central tendency measure, that is trend analysis. Next is workload analysis. It is dependent upon the nature of the workload in a department, in a branch, or in a division. Workforce analysis, whenever production and the time period has to be analyzed, due allowances have to be made for getting net manpower requirements. And next, other methods. Several mathematical models with the aid of computers are used to forecast manpower needs like budget and planning analysis, regression or new venture analysis. And third is developing employment programs. कि once the current inventory is compared with the future forecast, so जो employment programs can be framed and developed accordingly, which will include जैसे कि recruitment, selection procedure, and the placement plans. And the last is design training programs. This will be based upon extent of the diversification, expansion plans, development programs, etc. So training programs depend upon the extent of improvement in technology and advancement to takes place. This is also done to improve upon the skills, capabilities, and knowledge of the workers. So ये थे steps involved in the manpower planning. Next, come importance of manpower planning. The first importance is key to the managerial function. The four managerial function, planning, managing, directing, and controlling, are based upon the manpower. So human source help in the implementation of all these managerial activities. Therefore, staffing becomes a key to all managerial functions. Second, efficient utilization. Efficient management of personnel becomes an important function in the industrialization world of the today. Setting of large-scale enterprises require management of the large-scale manpower. It can be effectively done through staffing function. Third is motivation. Staffing function not only includes putting recommend on the right job, but it also comprises of the motivational program, that is incentive plans to be framed for further participation and employment of the employees in a concern. Therefore, all types of the incentive plans become an integral part of the staffing function. Fourth is better human relations. A concern can stabilize itself if human relations develop and are strong. Human relations become strong through effective control, clear communication, effective supervision, and leadership in a concern. So, staffing function also looks after training and development of the workforce, which leads to the cooperation and better human relations. And the last is higher productivity. The productivity level increases when resources are utilized in the best possible manner. Higher productivity is a result of minimum waste of time, money, efforts, and energies. So this is possible through the staffing and it is related activities, that is performance appraisal, training and development, and remuneration, etc. So this is how high productivity leads to the minimum wastage of time, money, and efforts and energies. So next is need of the manpower planning. कि manpower planning की need क्यों है? The manpower planning is two-phased process because manpower planning not only analyzes the current human resources but also makes manpower forecast, thereby draw employment programs. So manpower is advantageous to the firm in the following manner. First, if the shortages and surplus can be identified so that the quick action can be taken whenever required. Second, all the recruitment and selection programs are based on the manpower planning. Third, it also helps to reduce the labor cost as excess staff can be identified and thereby overstaffing can be avoided. Fourth, it also helps to identify the available talents in the concern and accordingly train program can be chalked out to develop those talents. Or fifth, it helps in growth and diversification of the business. Through manpower planning, human resources can be readily available and they can be utilized in the best possible manner. And the last, it helps the organization to realize the importance of the manpower planning and management, which ultimately helps in the stability of the concern. So this is how the need of the manpower planning is required. Now, what are the obstacles in the manpower planning? Hurdles, obstacles मतलब hurdles कि क्या क्या परेशानी है manpower planning में. The first is underutilization of the manpower. The first is the obstacles in manpower planning बढ़ रहा है. The first is the underutilization of the manpower. The biggest obstacle in case of the manpower planning is the fact that the industry in general are not making optimum use of their manpower. And once manpower planning begins, it encounters heavy odds in stepping out the utilization. Second, degree of absenteeism. Absenteeism is quite high and has been increasing since last few years. This is also a hurdle in the manpower planning. Third, lack of education and the skilled labor. The extent of the illiteracy and slow pace of the development of the skilled categories account for the low productivity in the employees. So low productivity has implications for the manpower planning. Next, manpower control and the review. Any increase in the manpower is considered at the top level of the management. On the basis of the manpower plan, plans, budgets are prepared. These act as control mechanism to keep the manpower under certain broadly defined limits. The productivity of any organization is usually calculated under the formula that is productivity is equal to output upon input. But a rough index of the employee productivity is calculated as follows. Employee productivity is equal to the total production upon the total number of the employees. And next, exit interviews. The rate of the turnover and the rate of the absenteeism are source of vital information on the satisfaction level of the manpower. For conservation of human resources and better utilization of the man studying these conditions, manpower control would have to take into account the data to make meaningful analysis. And next, extent of the overtime. The amount of the overtime paid may be due to the real shortages of the man, ineffective management, improper utilization of the manpower. The manpower control would require a careful study of the overtime statistics. कि उनका ये मानना है कि जो लोग हम ओवर टाइम करके पे कर रहे हैं जिन लोगों को वो इसलिए कर रहे हैं क्योंकि रियल जो रिक्वायरमेंट है रियल शॉर्टेजेस है मैन की इनफेक्टिव मैनेजमेंट है इम्प्रॉपर यूटिलाइजेशन हो रहा है मैन पावर का इसीलिए वो बोला कि हम लोगों को ओवर टाइम स्टैटिस्टिक्स को केयरफुल स्टडी करने की रिक्वायरमेंट है नेक्स्ट even few organizations don't have sufficient records and information on the manpower. Several of those who have them don't have a proper retrieval system. There are complications in resolving the issues in design, definition, and creation of the computerized personal information system for effective manpower planning and utilization. Even the existing technology in this respect is not optimally used, and this is a strategic disadvantage. So, ये थे obstacles in the manpower planning. अब जो next topic आता है that is types of the recruitment. There are two types of recruitment, internal and external. The first is internal recruitment. It is a recruitment which takes place within the organization. Internal sources of the recruitment are readily available to the organization. Internal sources are primarily three, like transfer कर दिया, promotion किया, re-employment किया of the ex-employee. That is internal recruitment. Internal recruitment may lead to increase in the employee productivity as the motivation level increases. It also saves time, money, and efforts. But a drawback of internal recruitment is that it refrains the organization from new blood. Also, not all the manpower requirements can be met through internal recruitment. So, hiring from outside has to be done. So, internal recruitment are primarily three: transfer, promotion, re-employment. Re-employment का मतलब बता देती हूँ मैं. Re-employment of the ex-employee is one of the internal source of the recruitment जिसमें employees can be invited and appointed to fill the vacancies in the concern. There are situations when ex-employees provide unsolicited applications also. So this is how re-employment done. Next, external recruitment. Next आता है आपका external recruitment. External sources of recruitment have to be solicited okay. So next आता है external recruitment. अगर हम external recruitment की बात करें, internal जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया within the organization होता है और external recruitment होता है outside the organization. कि जो हम बाहर से लोग आते हैं जो इंटरव्यू देते हैं and then we got selected. और इंटरनल मतलब हम लोगों ने प्रमोशन किया, ट्रांसफर कर दिया या कोई हमारा एक्स एम्प्लॉय था उसको दोबारा से रीअपॉइंट कर दिया. सो दिस इज काइंड ऑफ इंटरनल रिक्रूटमेंट. अब एक्सटर्नल रिक्रूटमेंट have to be solicited from outside the organization. External sources are external to a concern, but it involves a lots of time and money. So external sources of the recruitment includes employment at factory gate, advertisements, employment exchanges, employment agencies, and educational institutes, labor contractors, recommendations, etc. So यहाँ पे क्या क्या आ सकता है? First is employment at factory level. This is a source of external recruitment in which the applications for the vacancies are presented on a bulletin board outside the factory or the gate. So this kind of recruitment is applicable generally where factory workers are to be appointed. There are people who keeping on soliciting jobs from one place to another, and these applicants are called as unsolicited applicants. These type of workers apply on their own for the job, and for this kind of the recruitment, workers have a tendency to shift from one factory to another, and therefore they are called as the badli workers, BADLI, badli workers. सेकेंड आता है आपका एडवर्टाइजमेंट. एक तो आप लोगों ने ऐसे फैक्ट्री गेट पे बुलेटिन बोर्ड लगा दिया, दैट इज एक्सटर्नल सोर्स. सेकेंड हो गया एडवर्टाइजमेंट, न्यूज़पेपर में, टेलीविजन में आपने एडवर्टाइजमेंट पोस्ट किया, दैट इज एडवर्टाइजमेंट. It is an external source which has got an important place in the recruitment procedure. The biggest advantage of the advertisement is that it covers a wide area of the market, and scattered applicants can get information from the advertisement. So medium used is newspaper and the television. Next, employment exchanges. इतने सिंपल है, 12th क्लास में आप लोगों ने इसको डिस्कस किया हुआ है, टाइप्स ऑफ रिक्रूटमेंट. थर्ड आता है आपका एम्प्लॉयमेंट एक्सचेंजेस. देयर आर सर्टेन एम्प्लॉयमेंट एक्सचेंजेस व्हिच आर रन बाय द गवर्नमेंट. Most of the government undertakings and the concerns employ people through such exchanges. Nowadays, recruitment and government agencies has become compulsory through the employment exchanges. Next, employment agencies. There are certain professional organizations which look towards recruitment and the employment of the people. That is, these private agencies run by the private individual supply required manpower to needy concerns. Next, educational institutions. There are certain professional institutions which serve as an external source for recruiting fresh graduates from these institutes. This kind of recruitment done through such educational institute जैसे कि campus recruitment, जो आप बोलते हैं placements हो रही हैं colleges में final level पे जो होती हैं, that is educational institute, that is the campus recruitment. There are special recruitment cells which helps in providing jobs to the fresh candidates. एक आता है रिकमेंडेशन के बेसिस पे. सपोज मैंने किसी का नाम रिकमेंड कर दिया, ठीक है, देयर इज अ वैकेंसी इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एंड दिस इज फिल्ड बाय ओनली ऑन द रिकमेंडेशन ऑन माइन. So this is how recommendations work in the external recruitment. Okay, there are certain people who have experience in particular area. They enjoy goodwill and a stand in a company. So there are certain vacancies which are filled by the recommendation of such people. So biggest drawback of this source is that the company has to rely totally on such people, which can later on prove to be inefficient. Next are the labor contractors. They are the specialist people who supply manpower to the factory or the manufacturing plants. Through these contractors, workers are appointed on the contract basis for a particular time. So under conditions when these contractors leave the organization, such people who are appointed have to also leave the concern. So this is how labor contractors are appointed in the external recruitment. Now, employee selection process. Proper screening of the candidate takes place during the selection procedure. थोड़ा सा मैंने skip कर दिया, again repeat हो रहा था वही, right people at the right job again. So all the potential, ये जो important है वो discuss कर लेते हैं. All the potential candidates who apply for the given job are tested, but selection must be differentiated from the recruitment. Through these, there are two phases of the employment process. Recruitment is considered to be the positive process because as it motivates the more of the candidates to apply for the job, it creates a pool of applicants. It is just sourcing of the data. While selection is a negative process because The inappropriate candidates are rejected here. So recruitment precedes selection in the staffing process. So selection involves choosing the best candidate with best abilities, skills and knowledge for the required job. So employment selection process कैसे होता है? First is a preliminary interview. It is used to eliminate those candidates who don't meet the minimum eligibility criteria laid down by the organization. The skills, academic and the family background, competences and interest of the candidates are examined during the preliminary interview. So preliminary interviews are the less formalized and planned than the final interview. और जो candidates हैं उनको एक brief दिया जाता है about the company and the job profile. So it also examines कि how much the candidate knows about the company. So preliminary interview also known as a screening interview. नेक्स्ट आता है आपका एप्लीकेशन ब्लैंक्स. जब आप लोगों ने स्क्रीनिंग इंटरव्यू ले लिया, दैट इज प्रिलिमिनरी इंटरव्यू लिया, देन आता है एप्लीकेशन ब्लैंक कि candidates who clear the preliminary interview are required to fill the application blank. It contains the data record of the candidate such as details about the age, qualification, reason for leaving the previous job, experience, etc. थर्ड आता है फिर आपका एक रिटन टेस्ट होता है कि वेरियस रिटन टेस्ट कंडक्टिंग ड्यूरिंग द सिलेक्शन प्रोसीजर, दैट इज एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट, इंटेलिजेंस टेस्ट, रीजनिंग टेस्ट, personality test, etc. So these tests are used to be objectively assess the potential candidate. So they should not be the biased. Next आता है फिर आपका employment का interview. It is a one-to-one interaction between the, अब आप इंटरव्यू के सामने जा रहे हो तो इंटरव्यूअर और द पोटेंशियल कैंडिडेट के बीच में one-to-one interaction हो रहा है. So it is used to find whether the candidate is best suited for the required job or not. But such interviews consume time and money. Moreover, the competence of the candidate cannot be judged. So such interviews may be biased at times. Such interviews should be conducted properly. No distraction should be there in room. There should be an honest communication between the candidate and the interviewer. Next होता है फिर आपका medical examination. The medical tests are conducted to ensure physical fitness of the potential employee. It will decrease the chances of the employee absenteeism. And next, the appointment letter. A reference check is made about the candidate selected, and then finally he is appointed by giving a formal appointment letter. उसको एक formal appointment letter देकर उसको appoint कर लिया जाता है. So this is how selection process done. सिंपल था ये. नेक्स्ट आता है नेक्स्ट आता है आपका ओरिएंटेशन प्लेसमेंट. ओरिएंटेशन को अगर एक लाइन में समझाया तो इसका एक और टर्म होता है इंडक्शन. इंडक्शन का मीनिंग भी ओरिएंटेशन होता है. इसका बेसिकली मतलब क्या है, आपका कैंडिडेट अपॉइंट हो गया है तो उसको अपने कंपनी के बारे में बताना, मतलब उसको अपनी कंपनी से गो थ्रू कराना, दैट इज ओरिएंटेशन, दैट इज इंडक्शन.
कॉपी के पास
The candidate that are selected for the required job, they have to be fitted as per the qualification. So placement is said to be the process of fitting the right person at right job or place, fitting square pegs in the square holes and round pegs in the round holes. So once he's fitted into the right job, he is given the activities he has to perform and also told about his duties. So the freshly appointed candidates are then given orientation in order to familiarize and introduce the company to him. So generally the information given during the orientation program includes सर में दर्द हो रहा, बड़ी तेज हवा भी चल रही है, हो जाएगा काम, थोड़ा आराम करो, मेरी तबीयत ऐसी सही. Employees layout, type of organizational structure, department goals, organizational layout, general rules and regulations, standing orders, grievance system or the procedure. In short, during orientation, employees are made aware about the mission and the vision of the organization. the nature of the operation of the organization, policies and the programs of the organization. The main aim of conducting orientation is to build up confidence, morale, and trust of the employees in the organization so that he becomes a productive and an efficient employee of the organization and contributes to the organizational success. The nature of the orientation program varies with the organizational size. That is, smaller the organization, the more informal is the orientation. And the larger the organization, more formalized is the orientation program. So proper placement of the employees will lose the chances of the employees absenteeism and the employee will be more satisfied and be contented with their work. So this is the orientation. Basically orientation का मतलब होता है कि आपको उसके अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के विजन और मिशन के बारे में उस कंपनी को गो थ्रू कराना है. दैट इज ओरिएंटेशन. इवन एवरीबडी नोज ही. आपका जो कॉलेज में होता है ओरिएंटेशन प्रोग्राम, वो बेसिकली क्या होता है? वो आपको कॉलेज के बारे में फेमिलियर ही तो कराना होता है कि क्या कॉलेज में है क्या नहीं, ये सब चीजें. तो दैट इज ओरिएंटेशन. इसका सेकंड नेम है इंडक्शन. नाउ नेक्स्ट टॉपिक इज ट्रेनिंग ऑफ द एम्प्लॉयज. The training of the employee takes place after orientation takes place. Training is a process of enhancing the skills, capabilities, and the knowledge of the employees for doing a particular job. Training process molds the thinking of the employees and leads to the quality performance of the employees. So it is a continuous and a never-ending in the nature. अब हम बात करें कि what is the importance of the training. Training is crucial for the organizational development and the success, and it's fruitful to both employer and the employees of the organization. An employee will become more efficient and productive if he is trained well. Training is given on the 4 basic grounds. The first is new candidates who join an organization are given training. This training familiarizes them with the organizational mission, vision, rules and regulations, and the working conditions. Second, the existing employees are trained to refresh and enhance their knowledge. Third, if any updations or amendments takes place in the technology, तो training is given to cope up with those changes. जैसे कि मैं बताती रहती हूँ, डायनामिक एनवायरमेंट एंड डायनामिक टेक्नोलॉजीज है, जैसे जैसे अपडेशंस की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है तो ट्रेनिंग इज गिवन टू कोप अप विद दैट चेंजेस. फॉर इंस्टेंस, परचेजिंग अ न्यू इक्विपमेंट, changes in the technique of the production, computer implant, so the employees are trained about the use of new equipment and the work methods. When promotion and career growth becomes important, the training is given so that the employees are prepared to share the responsibilities of the higher level job. So this is our importance of the training requirement. Next are the benefits क्या है इसके? First, improves the morale of the employees. Training helps to improve the morale of the employees to get job security and job satisfaction. The more satisfied the employee is, the greater is his morale. The more he will contribute to the organizational success and the lesser will be the employee absenteeism and the turnover. Second, less supervision. A well-trained employee will be the well acquainted with the job and will need less of the supervision. Thus, there will be the less wastage of the time and the efforts. Third, fewer accidents. Errors are likely to occur if the employees lack knowledge and skills required for doing a particular job. The more trained an employee is, the less the chances of the committing accidents in the job and the more proficient the employees become. And fourth is the chances of the promotion. Employees acquire skills and efficiency during training. They become more eligible for the promotion. They become an asset for the organization. And next, increase productivity. Training improves efficiency and productivity of the employees. Well-trained employees show both quantity and the quality performance, and there is the less wastage of the time, money, and resources. Employees are properly trained. About the types of the training, there are 2 types: on-the-job training and the off-the-job training. On-the-job training की बात करें तो on-the-job training methods are those which are given to the employees within the everyday working of the concern. जो डेली बेसिस पे दी जाती है, दैट इज द ऑन द जॉब ट्रेनिंग. ऐसे समझ लो कि इट इज अ सिंपल एंड द कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव ट्रेनिंग मेथड. द इनप्रोफिशिएंट एज वेल एज द सेमी प्रोफिशिएंट ट्रेनिंग employees can be well trained by using such training method. So employees are trained in actual working scenario. And the motto of such training is learning by doing. Instances of doing such kind of training are the job rotation, coaching, temporary promotions, etc. So these are the examples of the on the job training जो डेली बेसिस पे दी जा रही है आपको. दैट इज लर्निंग बाय डूइंग. और ऑफ द जॉब ट्रेनिंग की बात करें तो off the job training methods are those in which training is provided away from the actual working condition. It is generally used in case of new employees. Instances of the job training method are like workshop, seminar, conferences, etc. Such method is costly and is ineffective if and only if large number of the employees have to be trained within a short time period. Off the job training is also called as vestibule training. कि employees are trained in a separate area जैसे कि hall में, entrance में, reception area etc. known as vestibule where actual working conditions are duplicated. That is off the job training. Last topic that is employee remuneration. फिर से डिस्कस करेंगे सारे टॉपिक कवर करने हैं हमें. एम्प्लॉय रेम्यूनरेशन refers to the reward or compensation given to the employees for their work performance. Just the remuneration provide basic attraction to the employees to perform job efficiently and effectively. There are two types of the remuneration. The first is the टाइम रेट मेथड, सेकंड होता है पीस रेट मेथड. जैसे कि नाम से जस्टिफाइड टाइम रेट मेथड क्या कहता है कि आप जितनी देर आप काम करोगे उतना आपको पे किया जाएगा. और पीस रेट मेथड क्या कहता है कि जितने पीसेस आप बनाओगे उस पीसेस के बेसिस पे आपको अमाउंट सैलरी दी जाएगी. बेसिकली टाइम में तो क्या मान लिया आपने 1 घंटे का टाइम डिसाइड किया, उसका वेज डिसाइड कर दिया. दैट इज टाइम रेट मेथड. पीस में क्या चाहिए, आप उसको 1 घंटा लगाओ, 2 घंटे लगाओ, 3 लगाओ. अगर आपने 10 पीस बनाया तो आपको 10 पीस का ही अमाउंट मिलेगा. दैट इज पीस रेट मेथड. Okay, I'm discussing time rate method. Under this time rate method, remuneration is directly linked with the time spent or devoted by the employee on the job. The employees are paid a fixed pre-decided amount hourly, daily, weekly or monthly irrespective of their output. So it is very simple method of the remuneration. It leads to the minimum wastage of the resources and the lesser chances of the accident. और पीस रेट मेथड की बात करें तो इट इज अ मेथड ऑफ कॉम्पनसेशन विच रेम्यूनरेशन इज पेड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द यूनिट्स pieces produced by an employee. In the system emphasizes more on the quantity output rather than on the quality output. So ये था आपका पीस रेट मेथड. सो आज के लिए इतना ही. आज हमने काफी कुछ डिस्कस किया. रेम्यूनरेशन डिस्कस किया, ट्रेनिंग डेवलपमेंट डिस्कस किया, उसके इंपॉर्टेंस बेनिफिट डिस्कस किए, ओरिएंटेशन एंड प्लेसमेंट डिस्कस किया, एम्प्लॉय का सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस डिस्कस किया, और टाइप्स ऑफ रिक्रूटमेंट डिस्कस किए. ऑब्स्टैकल्स, हाँ, मैन पावर प्लानिंग डिस्कस किया. क्या उसके अंदर ऑब्स्टैकल्स हैं, क्या उसका प्रोसेस है, क्या उसके इंपॉर्टेंस है, क्या उसकी नीड है. ठीक है. और पूरा हमने स्टाफिंग फंक्शन बेसिकली आज कंप्लीट कर लिया. सो इतना ही था आपका स्टाफिंग फंक्शन. लास्ट इज द कंट्रोलिंग फंक्शन जो हम नेक्स्ट क्लास में डिस्कस करेंगे. सो आज के लिए इतना ही. हाँ जी.
मैम सेशन एंड करना है.
हाँ जी भैया कर दीजिए. कंप्लीट हो गया टॉपिक. क्या करेंगे.